dark. Why? And there's a little blemish here. Good morning, guys. It is December 12th at 9:07 a.m. I am getting ready to go give an exam. My students have their exam at 9:30 and they're nervous. You know how many students I've seen this morning alone? It's like more than what I've seen throughout the entire 15 weeks of teaching them. They're gonna be fine. It's just the fear of the unknown. You don't know what you're gonna see. You don't know the test questions. You don't know what your teacher could possibly ask you on the test. But I've already told them, as long as you know you've studied, you should be good for the test. So I'm about to run to the little girl's room, and then I'm gonna go to the lecture room and set up for their final exam. So I will see you later. That's like a little mean type of smile. Bye, guys. All right, guys, so I am in the study room. I had to step out of my office. I was getting really claustrophobic in there. So I came into the study room to edit my video that's going up tonight, and then just sit here and chill so that I can do more work, because I'm sitting at a table that's quite large, which I really do like because it's very big and it allows me to space out. I was supposed to put up a video on studying techniques for students. So briefly, I'm just gonna talk about it, about being an educator and what I've learned and what I've seen in my years of teaching. So I've been teaching for 12 years. I've taught 3 years of high school. When I first was hired, I was a high school teacher, and then I became a professor. And in my years of teaching, it has drastically changed. The educational system has drastically changed, at least here in America. And I think I need to be more specific in the state of Maryland, because I can't speak of every state, but I can speak of the state in which I'm located in, which is Maryland. And our educational system has drastically changed. Students are completely different from when I was a student. Perfect timing. 1 second. Sorry, guys. So anyway, I don't even remember where I left off, but the point of the matter is that education has completely changed from when I was a student till 2017. Students are much more lazier, and I want to believe that that is partially attributed to technology and the means of how they can get their education. A lot of online classes exist now. When I was in school, we did have online classes, but it was very few that you could take for a degree student. You couldn't take a lot of online classes. You had to be in the classroom. We had actual textbooks. In today's classrooms, we have PDFs, we have ebooks, we have online books that we put up for students that doesn't require them to actually have the actual textbook. Students are learning from PowerPoints. When I was in school, we didn't have PowerPoints. And when I say school, I'm talking about university. So of course, prior to that, we definitely didn't have that. We didn't use PowerPoint until my 3rd year of university. And that was well into my educational pursuit at that point. So I didn't have PowerPoint, where I was very lazy and everything was shorthand. We literally had to write everything that the teacher was saying, write it into a notebook. We actually came to classes with our notebooks, actual notebooks or binders with loose leaf paper that you took notes on, and you took notes. Students didn't come to class and just text themselves their notes or use iPads or any of those gadgets to take notes on. We actually did it long-handed. Now, the good and bad of this is that it does make it a lot easier for students to have access to our PowerPoints and to our notes. So for me, for instance, as a teacher, I give my students access to all of my notes prior to even starting the class. So students who are going to start class in January, and probably like 2 weeks prior to the class starting, they will actually have complete access to all of my notes that I'll be teaching them for that entire semester, which is a bonus. But the downfall is that students, regardless of you putting them up, students come to you after some time and they're still asking questions about the notes. They don't know where to access the notes. They want you to print the notes out for them. They want you to do everything for them, and that is not the case. When I was a student, you couldn't do that. You couldn't require or request of a teacher to print out notes. If the teacher printed out notes for you, then you were very fortunate. But Here where I teach, we don't print out the notes for our students. We expect you to come to class with the notes. We expect you to come having already read over your notes, gone over the notes. Students are, you know, because of PowerPoint now, or because of this ebook, if the class has access to an ebook or PDF version of the book, students don't read prior to coming to class. And so they want us to actually teach them everything that the book says. And that's not what education is about. You are expected on the college level, university level, to go home and spend time with the book. If you're taking a 4-credit class, we expect that for every credit that you're taking in a week, you're spending at least 2 to 3 hours for that class. So for instance, my biology class, or if I'm teaching anatomy and physiology for the semester, they are 4-credit classes. So if I'm teaching you a 4-credit course in a semester for 15 weeks, every single week, I am expecting that you are spending at least 8 to 12 hours outside of the class just for my class. Now, is that reasonable? Yes and no. It's not really reasonable because you are taking other classes, especially if you're full-time, you are taking other classes. But then again, if you want to do well, that's the only way that you can do well. That is the only way that you can get the grade that you desire. It is a backwards mentality or thought process to think that you can spend 1 hour in class with me, 2 hours, 3 hours in class with me, and still make an A. No, I have never taught a student in 12 years who just comes to my lecture and gets an A. That student has spent time out of the class. That student comes to class prepared. That student comes to class and asks questions. That student comes to class or even to my office hours to ask questions and to go over whatever it is he or she doesn't know. They don't wait to the last minute. They're not begging for extra credit. You know, they're doing their part so that by the time 15 weeks come, then they can be assured that they have received and earned the grade that they will see as their final grade. Now, so what are some of my tips? Generally, do your part. That is all we can ask of you as a student, to do your part. Spend time with your book. Spend time going over the notes. Rewrite your notes if you have to. Make flashcards. Do whatever works for you. For me personally, flashcards don't work. I cannot study using a flashcard. I cannot study with flashcards. All I can study with are white paper, computer paper, and I rewrite all of my notes. For whatever reason, that white canvas gives me a clear visual of what it is that I am studying, and it helps me out tremendously. Everybody has to find out what works for them. What works for me as a teacher and when I was a student, a science student, it may not work for you. Some people like to do flashcards. Some people like to write in different colors. I've seen students who've literally taken their notes and they're rewriting their notes and every line is a different color. For whatever reason, it works for that student. I've had students who fold their paper where in lecture they may take their notes on the left side. When they go back home to study, they may take their rewritten notes on the right side. And then they begin to compare the notes to study to make sure that they get the best of what it is that they're trying to get. Ultimately, do whatever works for you. Do anything that you need to do in order to pass a class except cheating. Cheating is a no-no. Cheating is a no-go. Students have had to learn this the hard way in my class. I tell you the first day of class, I don't give second warnings. You get caught cheating, that's it. Because in life, if you are a cheater in a lecture room, in a classroom, that means that you're gonna find a way to try to cheat yourself through life. And let me tell you, if you continuously cheat people and you're getting over those people, it will catch up with you. You will find it hard in a couple of years. You will find it in a hard way. You will learn the hard way. That's what I'm trying to say, is that you will learn the hard way. So why not just put yourself through the rigor of actually obtaining the degree and earning the grade that you desire. Test taking skills, go over the notes. I always tell my students, if I didn't teach it, even if it's in the chapter, if I didn't spend time with it, don't study it. Most teachers are actually there for you to succeed. Most of us want you to do well because we know what it means to be a student. We were there. We were once upon a time that scared student thinking about what he or she could put on the test. And so we understand that you guys are looking to be whatever it is that you're in school for. Most of my students are in the healthcare profession and they're looking to get these licenses. They're looking to get these various healthcare degrees. And so it is hard. It is competitive. So I'm not here to make your life a miserable hell. No, I'm here to help you and to help you to succeed. But the only way that you can do that is if you spend time with your book and if you spend time trying to understand what it is and doing your part outside of the classroom. Education, I believe, as a teacher, and learning happens outside of the classroom. You come to the class to reinforce what you've been doing outside. You come to the classroom to reinforce what you've already studied, what you've already read in the textbook or on the PowerPoint or wherever you're reading your notes from. You come to the lecture room to reinforce it and to gain a better understanding. But if you don't take it out of the classroom and spend time with it on your own time, then you're not going to get it. There's no amount of teaching that I can do that will help you in that manner. I have had very few students, extremely few students in my years of teaching, very few students. I've been teaching for 12 years, 9 years on the college level, university level. Very few students, and I've taught thousands of students that have the ability to come to my lecture room, sit there for about an hour and a half for lecture, an hour and a half for lab, twice a week or 3 times a week depending on the course that you're taking, and pass my class. General biology is about reading. If you're taking my anatomy and physiology class, you better find a way to memorize, because it's, especially the part 1 of it, there is a lot of memorization. You're learning about the bones. You need to know the names of the bones. You need to know the parts of the bones. Then you learn muscle. You need to know the name of the muscle. You need to know the action, the insertion, the origin, parts of the muscle. So there is a lot of memorization. If you think coming to my class 2 or 3 times a week is going to get you to pass the class, honey, you're not going to pass. And I know I can speak on behalf of other professors that when a student believes that, that student has already failed the class. You have to put in your work. So for those of you guys who are studying for fall 2017 tests and exams, I sincerely pray that you do your very best. I pray that the tests will be easy for you. I pray that you have retentive memory, because it is such a thing to have retentive memory. There's also a thing to study, cram, and forget what you've studied. So I pray that you have retentive memory and that you do your best and you get the grade that you thoroughly desire. But do know this, most teachers, including myself, don't give students grades. I don't give you a grade, and I'm sure my colleagues don't either, most of them. You earn that grade. So if you want to earn an A, then do A work. Like my mama always used to tell me, and she still tells me till today, anything worth doing is worth doing well. If you're not going to do it well, then just don't do it. So I hope that helps. I know it's not as much as I wanted to give out, but I'm sure in the spring semester I will put out probably a series, especially when it's back to school for students, for most students, of studying techniques, note-taking techniques, how to pass a test, how to approach your teacher, because I hear a lot about that. I don't want to talk to my teacher. My teacher is scary. We're not that scary. We just have to be strict sometimes, because sometimes, especially when there's a lot of y'all, hello. So I'm just here. I am so bored. I am so bored. I have so much work that I can be doing, but I'm just bored. I'm so happy to be done today, and then I can just do other things for myself, because I've had to put things on the back burner, because meeting with students and writing exams, marking exams, assigning final grades, all that takes a lot of work. So after today, I will be a free woman, at least for 6 weeks. I think I have about 6 weeks. I have next week, the following week, yeah, about 4 weeks in January. So 6 weeks or so of a break. We're gonna enjoy our break, teachers. Enjoy your break, teachers. I don't have anything to talk about. I'm just